He looks like a very stylish guy, you know, very fashion, very, oh, there's a sketch, very nice. What's up, guys? Welcome. Today we're going to be taking a look at some of your guys' characters, and I'm going to be rating them on a scale from S, meaning it's so good I'm going to end my career, to A, B, C, and all the way down to D, which stands for do better, or doo-doo. But hey, hopefully nobody gets a D today. Now please buckle up, grab your popcorn, and brace yourselves because Professor Sam here is about to fail the whole class. Let's go. Here's our first victim. Her name is Brianna Ann's Diary. Now, from a design standpoint, I actually really like this character. You've got a nice monochromatic color scheme with blacks, whites, as well as a little bit of pastel desaturated pinks. And in terms of the silhouette, I think you've got more volume on the sleeves as well as on the legs and less volume on the center of the body, so the balance kind of works itself out. So our first victim's going to get a solid A from me. Now, the only thing that I could think of that could make this even better is if you look at her torso in the full body shot, you don't really see the silhouette of her actual body because the hair is the same color as the costume on her body. So if I squint my eyes and take a step back, I kind of just lose the silhouette of the character, which is not what we want to do. You could potentially move the hair a little bit to the side or even change the length of the hair so that the character's body silhouette shows up a little bit more, and then it might just be an S tier. Holy Christ, you know, I really love the big pants silhouette in contrast with the more tight and form-fitting upper body. It really looks quite solid, and I was gonna give you a B rating until I saw her foot. What the hell is that? Oh, Lord have mercy on my eyes. But you know, we're gonna pretend we didn't see that. You're gonna get a B. Design inspired by ancient Indian kings and warriors attire is very, very cool. Now, the only thing that I could think of that would make this character even better is if you incorporated some more accent colors into her lower body. She's got a very vibrant costume design, and I can see that you've used some reds and some blues in other parts of her body, like the hair and the armband. So I think it would help if you try to bring some of those colors into her lower body, because right now, again, you take a step back, that whole section kind of just blends together. This is Marjorie, an aristocrat living in a world where magic is outlawed. She finds ways to subtly challenge this construct, but with just one misstep, and she and her companions find themselves swept up in the whirlwind. Very interesting, cool story. Now, first of all, I love the shape of the dress. I love the color of the dress. It really conveys a sense of nobility. As it stands right now, she's gonna get a C from me, but see, because she's living in a world that has some magic, some fantastical elements, and obviously she's in the upper echelons of society, being an aristocrat, I would personally like to see some more hints to her status in society by way of maybe accessories like an expensive necklace, maybe some expensive earrings, maybe some expensive bracelets. Now, of course, you don't have to go overboard with this. Simplicity is key, but I'd like to see a little bit more accessorization of this character just to convey her background a little bit better. And after you do that, I'm pretty sure she'll be an A. What the hell? Bro, what the hell is this? Sam does kung fu. Why am I assaulting a chicken? What is your problem? But you know what, for your first digital drawing, that's pretty damn impressive. This might just be an S tier for me. Ooh, very cool. This is my OC Zoey. This is a very nice take on the classic blue and orange color scheme, and I think it just works fantastically for this character. I love the orange being used as an accent color, and I do actually like the silhouette of this character. She's gonna get a solid A from me. Now, the only thing that I think could take her to an S tier is if you add even more exaggeration and volume to the silhouette of her hair, and maybe add some more volume and some roundness to the back of her sleeve. I feel like that would really just round out the upper body silhouette in contrast with the lower body. Oh my goodness, look at that. Sai is the main character of the series I'm working on, set in a futuristic Asian American inspired city of Koi Harbor. Sai and her team have to navigate fighting corrupted thawing monsters while figuring out how to get time restarted. So one of the first things that I noticed about this character sheet was the presence of the stopwatch on her chest, and honestly that's a really good indicator of the potential story around this character. And just in terms of her design, again, I love the silhouette of this character. Okay, you've got a lot of volume with the hair, a lot of volume on the upper body, in contrast with a very cartoonish and slim lower body, finished off with some very chunky shoes. I feel like I can already see her being animated in some sort of a show. You're gonna get an A from me. Maybe change the color of the background to something a little bit more neutral so that we can get a better sense of her colors, because this blue is killing my eyes, bro. Freaking skating beaver. How sick is that? For my final project of last year, the personality walk cycle, I designed my character Austin the Gopher. Oh, it's a gopher, it's not a beaver, my bad. Sam does racial profiling of rodents, and there's a little animated walk cycle. That's pretty cool. I love the idea of a skater. I love the idea of the gopher. I'm gonna give this character a B. I love the expression sheet and the silhouette shots. I think those are fantastic. Now, the only thing that I would change to get this to an S tier is I want you to think about the build of a gopher. Gopher's got a lot of body fat, you know, they droop a little bit. They also have like short, stubby little limbs, you know, and I feel like that's something you could work with and try to incorporate into this design. Think of a character like Stitch, for example, you know, a lot of volume in the limbs, a lot of volume in the body, but stubby and kind of cute and round looking. I think that type of a silhouette where the body and the limbs are more bean-like almost and kind of just flowing, that would make this design even more charming and even more endearing. Ooh, that's not bad at all. I love her outfit. This is Kurage, jellyfish in Japanese. She is a poor university student who spends all her money on food and knockoff katanas. She also does kendo and has grandiose delusions of becoming a samurai. No, it's pretty relatable. You know, we definitely see the jellyfish in her hairstyle as well as the colors. I like how the jellyfish colors kind of work their way into her hair color. And I also like how you didn't just leave it at the hair. She's got some accessories and some socks that also match the color of her hair. She's gonna get a solid B from me. Now, if you want to take Kurage to S tier, I want you to be more confident with your silhouette. Look at the hair, for example, right? I'm seeing a lot of like scratchiness, a lot of uncertainty with where to place the volume. I'd recommend, you know, maybe studying some stills from characters from Arcane, for example, where there's a lot of certainty with the silhouette, you know, especially when it comes to the hair. And you can actually transfer some of that certainty and simplicity into other areas of her body as well, such as the sleeves for the sweaters. Even on the shoes, for example, I feel like there could be a little bit more punchiness with the shape here. But again, this is also something that's just going to come to you with even more practice. So take your time, you know, don't rush yourself. You've got a very, very solid base character here who's got just an absolutely iconic look to her. This is so cute. My alien OC Viv. Now, it seems like she's supposed to be a wholesome, bubbly type of character. I feel like you conveyed her personality really well. I love also the color scheme here. Very effective use of these different shades of blues with some golden accents mixed in. As it stands right now, I'm going to have to give her a C, mainly because I'm not sure exactly what you're going for with the proportions here. I want you to go back and try to be a little bit more intentional with the length of the upper body and the length of the lower body. If she's supposed to have a childlike physique, you could even shorten the arms a little bit more, make the head a little bit bigger. But if she's supposed to have more of an adult physique, you know, you can maybe make the legs a little bit longer in comparison to the overall length of the body. Just things like that, and you can easily take this character up to an A or an S tier. Oh my god, this is beautiful. First of all, your composition and your layout for this character sheet is gorgeous, okay? And I want to say I love the colors on this character. You've got this really nice pastel color scheme here, but she's also got some nice contrast with the black dress. She's very expressive and you've got a very distinct shape language. I actually really like the shapes that you've used for the sleeves as well as parts of the jacket. Honestly, I don't see much that I'm going to change here, so you're going to get a very solid S tier. This is beautiful, man. Jesus. A chicken. Wait, she's beautiful. Okay, somehow you've drawn a very seductive chicken. You know, we don't really get to rate many of these anthropomorphic animal characters, but I love when I see one like this because she works really well. Such a great color scheme with the analogous colors on her eyes that just really pop against her gray feathers. Very solid A. But you know what's going to make her an S tier? If you got rid of all those random shapes behind her, because they're kind of impeding my ability to see the character's silhouette a little bit more clearly. And also I feel like maybe a little bit more volume on the feathers on the back of her head. I love the transition from thin to thick on the end of the feathers. You know, maybe you can make them even bigger, even thicker, even more like a head of hair on a human. I think that would be fantastic. You would easily get to an S tier then. Oh, but what the hell is that? First sketches of my human OC. Human? I can't escape. I can't escape the disturbing drawings even with my Jesus Christ. Did you literally put watermelon patterns on those? Are you serious? Could you get any more on the nose with your analogies? Okay, you know what? This is cool. He looks like a very stylish guy, you know, very fashion, very, oh, there's a sketch, very nice. What the f? Now I'm going to give this character a C because I want to see a little bit more. You've got a couple of options here to make the silhouette look even more iconic. Option number one, you could try to shorten his shorts a little bit, make them like 5-inch shorts so you see more of those big quads, and I think that would provide a really good level of contrast between the lower body and the upper body. Or option number two, you could even bring that bagginess and that volume down to the lower body to get shorts that cover even more of his legs and maybe even bigger, chunkier shoes. I don't know, that's completely up to you, but I want you to experiment a little bit more with where you place volume in this character silhouette to make him look a little bit more iconic. Oh my god, that is beautiful. Oh my. Oh. Design explanation below. And you wrote a whole article. Wow. I want her to be the embodiment of a black hole. Okay. Tear-shaped ends on the outer and lower part of the dress of her hair, also resembling the ends of butterflies. So she's like a mix of butterfly and black holes. She has a little mouse companion. Oh, cute. Personally, I love this character design. I think she's very iconic. The black, blue, and white color scheme work really well here, and I love the outfit. Look at the back shot. I can very clearly see the butterfly wing inspiration here in the outfit, and I just noticed that her eyes kind of almost resemble that black hole motif. That is cool. That is awesome. That's, you know, this is gonna get a solid S from me. I cannot make this character any better myself. You're killing it. Wait, that's kind of sick. This is like a spider person. Okay, so I like this character design a lot. Now, when we talk about the silhouette of this character, you can see there's more volume being pushed up towards the top of her head with the hair as well as with the hoodie. And there's also more volume being dropped down with the leg warmers. I actually really like the way that interacts with the character's silhouette. I love the expression here. I love the highlights on her hair. She looks like she just doesn't give a shit. Now I'm going to give her an A, but I think what could potentially take her to an S tier is if you incorporated a little bit more of a secondary color into her costume design. I get that she's supposed to be a blue type of character, but I'm not gonna lie, at first glance, you know, a lot of these elements on the costume kind of get lost to me because everything is blue. And I do notice that you've used brown and beige as a secondary color here because of the color of her hair and her skin. So if you add some of that into the costume itself, I don't know, it could be anything. Could be an armband or a wristband that is brown, could be a brown belt, or it could be a little brown outline around the spider logo, or maybe darker brown shoes. I don't know, it could be anything that you could possibly think of, but I think if you incorporate that accent color, S tier immediately. This is sick. This silhouette works absolutely beautifully, and I love how confident you are with your shapes. And I love the rendering on this character. You know, the only thing that I could think of is maybe add a little bit more contrast just behind her torso so that we can see her body silhouette a little bit better. But again, I feel like your natural rendering style just leans towards more pastel anyways, so I'm not going to try to force you to change that. I think this is an S tier. Absolutely fantastic. Man, you guys are on a roll today. What's going on? You guys are killing it. I'm scared. And that's it for today's episode of me grading your guys' character designs. Hopefully you guys saw some designs that inspired you. If there's an artist's work that you really liked in this video, go show them some love. Go show them some support. Go leave them a comment for the algorithm and tell them that Sam sent you there. Let's all support each other and love each other in the art community. With all that being said, I'll see you guys on the next video. Only if you subscribe. Because if you don't subscribe, our brief and beautiful encounter will just remain as a memory to you and you'll never see me ever again in your life. And how sad is that? Check out my Patreon for monthly tutorials. In my last one, I actually talk about how to paint water. And that's like one of my favorite subjects ever. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else that I want to say. If you've hung around all the way to the end, if you're still here, thank you. Thank you for watching the video all the way through. I appreciate you. You know, I really like you. In fact, maybe I even love you. You want to get married? Meta AI, what are you doing? It seems like you're interested in learning about Sam Rate My OC too, but I couldn't find any information related to this term in my current database. However, I can tell you about some popular topics that might interest you. Recently, Nickelodeon has announced... What? Additionally, Nickelodeon has partnered with Paramount Plus. What? What are you talking... Dude, what are you talking about? Man, Meta AI keeps tripping on me. What Get your Nickelodeon... out of my hashtag, bro.